Okay, what do we got here? Okay, so if anyone has seen on my Instagram, I have designed a set of like forearm guards. One, design aesthetic practice. B, working on some mold design experience. Actually, there's really multiple reasons why I kind of wanted to pursue this whole project the way that I did. One, of course, the end context here is for Airsoft. Of course, these really aren't distinctly for Airsoft. That was sort of the functional outcome. It's like I wanted to be protective, was researching materials for that kind of durability. It is an initial field to go and like test out. I'm like bent over like a sorority girl right now. Hi, welcome to the Kyle Designs podcast, where I'm going to bore you with all of my knowledge of making things. Does that sound entertaining to you? I don't know. That's all I think about all the time. So it's not boring, but anyway, so I kind of want to show you guys, this is what the mold looks like. I 3D modeled it in SolidWorks. Actually, I 3D modeled the actual part itself and then did a Boolean operation. I was able to do a Boolean operation, which I was able to then subtract, and I was able to get a complete negative off of this. This area here, that part doesn't matter. Even all the top doesn't matter. So I was able to save, honestly, a lot of time from focusing on that. As you can tell, honestly, it is messy there because I was trying to experiment with a couple different ways to clean up this part without maybe having to go through and do a ton of spot putty. I ended up just going with spot putty. I still have a lot of leftover like smooth cast resins. They're older for sure, which is why I probably wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't do any like large castings with them, but as filler I want to test out. And fundamentally it works, but it definitely would have to be taking time to find out the right volume, and it's because it's so narrow in these old channels, it was hard for it to flow down because it wants to attach to the surface. That's why you use it, especially for roto casting. The one thing I did notice, that it being older, that it's a little bit more viscous than you would normally buy it, quote, fresh. But one major feature that's going forward here to maybe account for was that in the mold itself, there's all the edges. I don't know if you can see, it's right here. This isn't turned around. It has a slight chamfer. So you have a 90 degree. So if this is the part, this is the top, it has a slight bevel and then it has a 90 degree like little wall there. With how some of this came out, that would be interesting if practiced and then executed effectively, that I could just do it with the right amount of resin and it will cling into those corners and create more of a fillet than a chamfer, but it would still create the same effect, and the process development time for the physical model would be exponentially reduced. So that's something I'm kind of wanting to try in the future. I have the logo right in the middle, so it's going to be a negative impression within the part. Wanted to be subtle, didn't really want it to be a positive feature due to the fact that I do have the intent to make like an upgradable like armor plate, like an actual part that you have this on, you slip that on, it's already there, and then you can actually put like a hard plate on top as well. I didn't even say this. Oh my gosh. I got this 3D printed by 3D Central, Richmond, Virginia. I met these guys through Home and Design last summer. And obviously their business is 3D printing. Really, really nice, really cool guys. If you guys are able to work with them or reach out to them and stuff like that, they'll definitely work on getting your stuff printed. And they're very knowledgeable. They had a printer big enough to print this all in one print, which is exactly why I wanted to reach out to them, because I didn't really want to go through the potential variables of printing this in multiple parts. One part might slightly warp in one area, in one corner, and then maybe like attaching it could all be a problem and have unbalanced seam lines and making this line. This already took me like three or 4 days to clean up. I will say this, post-processing a 3D printed negative is more challenging than any kind of positive part. There's a lot of fine details I put into the model, which in an actual like CNC operation, but I do believe that like it could actually get all these changes in an actual like an industrial level manufacturing. With the 3D printer, I was kind of aware that I might lose some of those aspects, but with putting in the filler primer in, some of those might come back. There were some aside these little corner details I had. I just wanted to add some details to those. They didn't turn out. Again, it was that balance of like aesthetically and in relation to form, they should be a little bit smaller in size than what I actually put in the 3D model, because I knew for the proper outcome from the 3D printer I need to make them look bigger. And I think just with the G code, trying to calculate some of the tiny fills I added, which I added in for practice of if I was sending this off to for CNCing for becoming an injection mold tool. I think it was trying to do all of that, and there was some misextrusions in areas. At the same time though, this was printed in PETG for the purpose of easier cleaning, but it also needs some fatter extrusions. So with all of those variables combined, those details didn't come out as well. So this one I just went ahead and filled them up. Those weren't even necessary. Those were, again, details. The point of the design is all these features here. I'm actually having them print another one in PLA, which should be a higher quality. But yeah, let me go back to what I was saying. I brought down the perimeter, but I shrunk it in. Added a chamfer, again, just kind of reducing material, reduces time. The problem is that when I'm casting, which I'm casting in silicone urethane rubbers, I want this to be on the table, and I want to attach it to a board, which I can then attach to my table. And I have a scroll saw, which I'm just gonna take the blade out and turn it on, and it's gonna vibrate the entire table. So while I'm like holding the silicone like way up here, like pouring it down a thin strand and letting it fill up, I'm also gonna be vibrant too. So it's really, really gonna make sure that I don't get any air bubbles. So my order from Smooth On actually came a day early, so I have to get that bad boy sealed and glossed up. And I'm gonna show what I ordered for this initial wave here. Okay, let's close that before I cut myself open. So like I was talking about for the castings, I'm going to be starting off with a silicone rubber first, and that's going to be Rebound 4. I use Rebound 25 a lot. Actually, that is like my go-to silicone for molding. Rebound 40 represents the shore hardness of it, and on the silicone scale, so it's 40A, I believe. I'm doing that one first because the end result for this, it's more of a semi-rigid material. I'm starting off with this silicone with Rebound 40s because it has a pot life of 20 minutes, which gives me plenty of time to hold it way up here like I was talking about, pour down and fill all this up, and not kick and just ruin everything. Gives plenty of time for all the air bubbles to rise out as the table's vibrating and stuff like that. Once those come out, as well as I want to see how the mold turns out, I'm going to be switching to some urethane rubbers. That way I can different mechanical and chemical properties. Next thing I have is, so I have their Silk Pig. This is their black pigment because Rebound 40 comes out as a nice kind of a mint green, a little bit diluted mint green color. I want these to be black, and I'm not going to really paint on silicone because that's not going to work out very well, and I don't have materials to do that, and so we're just going to make it black. This is a lot, and it's not going to take that much to make it go completely black. I got their what they call Silpoxy, which I'm telling you, a perfect branding option. Would have been calling it Sillypoxy, but that's unfortunate. I need to draw a smiley face on it. Actually, give me a sec. There, see? Now it makes sense, right? Okay. So this is also a silicone-based adhesive, which is also going to be used for the Rebound 40 to attach it to the soft goods part of it. It's a synthetic fabric. It's actually, technically, it's an upholstery fabric. I think it was like 85% polyurethane, and this actually bonds well to fabrics. I just needed to attach to the bottom of the silicone part itself, and it's textured as well, which is what I want. So yeah, I'm just trying to get this to cure up really nicely. With it being sealed, I'm a lot more confident with how it's going to turn out, to be honest. This was definitely a real time consumer to get cleaned up. There's a lot of small things that you can, even the little logo. I'm surprised it actually printed as well as it did. It was also really just kind of finicky to clean up. It's looking really nice. I can't wait to honestly start casting these. Like I said, be starting to cast tomorrow. I should honestly get both done. So yeah, we're gonna get that up. While that's drying, just trying to move on to the next project.